A robber tosses a bag onto the counter and demands cash, expecting a quick surrender from the cashier. Security footage shows a suspect wearing a hoodie entering a mobile phone store and approaching the register. He throws a bag onto the counter and orders the employee to fill it with money while displaying a handgun. As the robber walks towards behind the counter, the cashier suddenly produces his own firearm from behind the counter. The attempted robbery instantly shifts as the suspect loses the initiative. The suspect is stopped near the counter while the cashier remains behind the counter. The robbery attempt ends within seconds, and authorities are later notified of the incident. A robber storms into a bakery with a hostage, but an off-duty officer is nearby. Security cameras show an armed robber arriving on a motorcycle while an accomplice waits outside. The suspect forces a street vendor into the bakery and pushes him toward the register where an off-duty police officer is making a purchase. The robber shoves both the vendor and the officer while trying to control the store. The officer moves toward a corridor, draws his handgun as the confrontation unfolds, and several shots are fired. The wounded robber flees down a side street, while his accomplice escapes on the motorcycle. The suspect did not survive his injuries sustained during the confrontation. A teenager enters a liquor store carrying whiskey bottles, but the owner is already watching. Security footage shows an 18-year-old entering a store in Brazil and picking up 2 bottles of whiskey. The store owner quietly watches from between the aisles, growing suspicious of his behavior. The young man places the bottles on the counter. Moments later, he pulls a handgun from his waistband and announces a robbery. Before he can take control of the store, the owner emerges from behind a shelf as shots are fired. The suspect falls to the ground, gets up immediately, and flees the scene. Police later locate and arrest the wounded robber before transporting him to a hospital under guard. A man enters a bakery announcing a robbery. Unaware an armed police officer is already inside. Late at night, customers sit inside a bakery in Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, when a hooded man enters and moves toward the counter. A police officer dining inside immediately notices the suspicious behavior. As the suspect approaches the service area, the officer reacts as shots are fired during the confrontation. Panic spreads through the dining area as patrons scramble away. The suspect is later pronounced dead following the confrontation. Customers and employees emerge from cover as responding officers secure the business and begin their investigation. 2 motorcycle thieves corner a family beside their car. Then the driver reaches back inside and changes everything. Security footage shows a family arriving in a garage area when 2 men on a motorcycle pull up beside their blue car. One suspect confronts the male driver while the other moves toward the woman as the motorcycle waits nearby. As the suspects try to control the family, the driver ducks back into the car, grabs a firearm, and points it toward them. The robbers immediately lose control and scramble to escape. The suspects flee on the motorcycle while the family pulls back from the car and regroups. The attempted robbery ends without the thieves taking the vehicle or abducting anyone. 2 robbers on a motorcycle target a gas station worker, but a nearby customer reacts first. Security footage from a gas station in Los Chiles, Costa Rica shows 2 men arriving on a motorcycle. They approach an employee fueling a vehicle while customers remain nearby. As the suspects move in on the attendant, a customer suddenly steps out from beside his car and produces a firearm. The unexpected response catches the robbers off guard and disrupts the robbery. One suspect runs from the scene while the other escapes on the motorcycle. The employee remains unharmed, and the attempted robbery ends without any property being taken. Being close to a crime does not make you part of it. Recognizing danger early and moving out of the unfolding situation can prevent becoming an unintended victim. A suspected car thief jumps into an SUV, unaware the owner is armed nearby. At a Miami car wash, a man allegedly pushes an employee and climbs into a customer's Mercedes-Benz SUV. Surveillance cameras capture the suspect entering the vehicle as people nearby react. The SUV begins moving through the lot as the owner runs toward it with a handgun drawn. As the vehicle changes direction, shots are fired during the confrontation. The SUV crashes into a nearby building and stops. The suspect later passed away from injuries sustained during the incident, and prosecutors declined to file charges against the vehicle owner under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. A stolen vehicle can be replaced. Being drawn into the thief's decisions cannot. Recognizing when control has been lost is often the safest moment to disengage. A phone snatcher speeds in from behind, then loses control before escaping. In Pakistan, a man is walking along the road on his phone when a biker rides up from behind and grabs it from his hand. As the rider tries to flee, he loses balance and crashes. The victim rushes back, grabs his phone, and confronts him as bystanders gather. The suspect pulls out a machete, changing the situation instantly. The victim backs away as the crowd keeps its distance. Moments later, a bull charges into the scene and knocks the suspect off balance into his motorcycle. The interruption leaves onlookers stunned as the video abruptly ends. The appearance of a weapon changes the objective immediately. What matters most is recognizing the shift from recovering property to protecting personal survival. A woman waits outside a locked business, but she isn't the customer employees think she is. The front door is locked as staff work inside. A woman waits to be let in. When an employee opens the door, an armed man rushes in behind her while a third suspect remains outside. The pair enter the business and begin a robbery. Employees resist, and a struggle breaks out near the entrance. Moments later, the owner appears with a firearm and shoots the armed suspect, who turns and runs from the store. Outside, he flees with the third suspect who had been waiting nearby. As the wounded suspect escapes, an employee quickly shuts and locks the front door, trapping the female accomplice inside after she had moved deeper into the business. Police later confirmed the wounded armed suspect died following the confrontation. Many robberies begin with access, not force. Taking a moment to verify who is requesting entry can prevent strangers from controlling the environment. A thief reaches through a door's mail slot, only to realize someone inside is watching. Security footage shows a man outside a home trying to open the front door by sticking his hand through the mail hole. Before he can unlock it, the homeowner spots the arm coming through and strikes at it with a baseball bat from inside. The thief quickly pulls back, gives up on the door, and runs away from the property as the break-in attempt fails. Nearby, pedestrians continue walking past, while the homeowner remains inside, ending the incident without any property being stolen that day there. Attempts to breach a home often begin with small tests of security. Recognizing unusual activity early can provide critical time to respond safely. A phone thief snatches from a woman at a bus stop, then her boyfriend drives straight into the chase. In Vila Velha, Brazil, a woman stands near a bus stop when a man on a bicycle rides up and grabs her phone before speeding away. Her boyfriend arrives in a black car, sees the theft, and cuts across the road to stop the fleeing suspect. After the collision, the suspect runs, but bystanders chase him down and hold him until police arrive. Officers later arrest him. The stolen phone is recovered as the suspect's attempted escape collapses. The urge to immediately recover stolen property can override good judgment. Taking time to think beyond the emotional reaction often prevents further danger. 3 salon workers face a robber pretending to have a gun and refuse to let him take control. In Duran, Ecuador, a man in a black shirt and cap enters a beauty salon with his hand in his pocket, acting like he has a weapon. He moves toward the closest worker and tries to grab her. The woman fights back, pulling at him and shouting for help. Her co-workers rush in, one even lifting a table as they force the robber toward the door. Overwhelmed by the group, the suspect breaks free and runs from the salon empty-handed. Many offenders rely on fear and hesitation. Understanding available exits and options before panic sets in can improve personal safety. A quiet street robbery turns violent when the victim fights back and the confrontation spills into the road. CCTV shows 2 people walking near parked cars when a suspect closes in and grabs at the victim, trying to overpower them in the open street. A struggle breaks out as the victim resists and pulls away. Another person nearby reacts, and the suspect suddenly loses control of the situation as the fight shifts toward the sidewalk. The suspect retreats as people move in, and the victim gets away from the immediate danger. The scene clears while authorities are called to investigate the reported robbery attempt. When a confrontation becomes physical, opportunities to disengage disappear quickly. Recognizing escalation early can help avoid becoming trapped in the conflict. A robber pulls a knife on a gas station clerk, but the clerk grabs a machete instead. At a Huntsville, Alabama gas station, a man enters pretending to shop before pulling a knife and demanding cash. Surveillance video shows the clerk grabbing a machete as the suspect backs toward the door. A second suspect waits outside near a getaway car. The clerk advances with the machete, forcing the robber out of the store. Glass shatters as the suspect escapes and runs toward the waiting vehicle. As the suspects attempt to flee, the clerk damages the getaway car to help identify it. While he's focused on the vehicle, the suspect runs back inside and steals a machine before escaping. Police later arrest both suspects. A situation that appears resolved can still contain hidden danger. Knowing when to stop engaging is often as important as knowing when to act. Two armed suspects think they have an easy target until the situation suddenly reverses. Outside a business in Morelia, Mexico, two suspects on a motorcycle approach a white sedan in what reports describe as an attempted robbery. The driver appears to flee as the suspects remain near the curb. Seconds later, the driver suddenly reverses toward the motorcycle before the suspects can leave. The car slams into the bike, knocking both men to the ground and sending the motorcycle onto the sidewalk. The suspects quickly scramble to their feet and flee on foot, abandoning the motorcycle behind. After disrupting their escape, the driver leaves the scene in his vehicle. The moment a threat begins to retreat can create a false sense of confidence. Re-engaging may restart a situation that was already ending. A burglary suspect drags a police officer into a speeding getaway car. In Antioch, California, three suspects use a vehicle to smash through a store entrance. As officers arrive, one officer confronts the driver, who remains inside the getaway vehicle. The driver suddenly accelerates, pulling the officer into the moving car. As they speed through city streets, the officer and suspect struggle over control of the vehicle, while the officer repeatedly orders him to stop. The suspect refuses to surrender and continues driving. Fearing a crash, the officer fires during the struggle, ending the immediate threat. The driver eventually stops, attempts to flee on foot, and is arrested. The other two suspects flee on foot. A moving vehicle introduces unpredictable force and direction. Recognizing how quickly circumstances can change helps explain why vehicle-related confrontations are so dangerous. A couple catches a car burglar inside their truck, then chases him down before police arrive. In Harriman, Utah, a homeowner notices a man rummaging through her unlocked Dodge Ram in the middle of the night. After spotting him on a security camera, she alerts her husband and heads outside. The woman distracts the suspect by confronting him near the vehicle. As the burglar responds, her husband rushes in from behind, grabs him, and restrains him, while an accomplice flees in a getaway car. The suspect breaks free and runs, but police later locate and arrest the 20-year-old man. Security footage captures the entire encounter. Seeing a crime in progress often creates pressure to intervene. Valuable information provided safely can be more useful than direct involvement. A homeowner wakes to masked intruders inside his house, then fights them off to protect his wife. In Rochdale, England, a man hears his dogs barking and discovers a masked intruder inside his home. As he confronts the suspect, accomplices enter the house. The homeowner exchanges punches with the intruders and forces them toward the back door. During the struggle, one suspect threatens to kill him and appears armed with what police believe may have been a screwdriver. Fearing for his wife's safety, the homeowner grabs kitchen knives and drives the group from the property. The suspects flee into the night as investigators review CCTV footage and seek information. Protecting family members begins with controlling movement and information during a crisis. Establishing a safe location can reduce confusion when seconds matter. A teen theft suspect runs into a Publix to escape police. Then a citizen steps in and ends the chase. In Port St. Lucie, officers identify a 15-year-old suspected in a nearby jewelry theft. When police spot him sitting near the scene, he takes off running toward a Publix. Body cam shows officers chasing him through the store aisles. As the teen tries to escape near the front, a bystander briefly stops his escape. Officers move in, secure the suspect, and take him into custody. Police say stolen items and a weapon connected to the case are recovered after the chase ends inside the busy grocery store. Good intentions can place uninvolved people into rapidly evolving situations. Understanding your role as a witness may be safer than becoming part of the event. Three armed intruders kick in a home's front door, and the confrontation ends with one suspect left behind. In Gwinnett County, Georgia, three armed men force their way into a residence during the early morning hours, moving room to room, searching for cash and valuables. The homeowner, awakened by the break-in, retrieves a firearm and confronts the intruders inside the darkened house. Gunfire erupts as the suspects encounter unexpected resistance. One intruder is shot during the confrontation and later dies from his injuries, while the other two flee. The homeowner calls 911, cooperates with investigators, and police launch a search for the surviving suspects. Organized offenders frequently depend on confusion and isolation. Strong communication between neighbors and quick reporting can reduce opportunities for criminals to operate unnoticed. Three masked men claiming to be police kick in a front door, then the homeowner fires back. In Auburn, Washington, three armed suspects wearing masks approach a home before dawn. As they try to force entry, one can be heard falsely identifying himself as a police officer. The suspects repeatedly kick the door until it begins to give way. Inside, the homeowner arms themselves and fires several shots as the break-in unfolds. The suspects retreat and flee the property. As they escape, gunfire is exchanged outside the home, with bullets striking nearby houses and property. No injuries are reported, and police begin searching for the suspects. Trust is often exploited before force is used. Verifying authority through independent sources can prevent criminals from using deception to gain access. A routine walk turns into a life-or-death struggle when a man suddenly confronts a woman on a Chicago sidewalk, all captured by a nearby security camera. A residential security camera captures an off-duty police officer walking outside an apartment building when a man approaches and begins interacting with her. The encounter quickly becomes a physical struggle, with investigators later alleging the man attempted to take the officer's firearm during the fight as they wrestled on the sidewalk. The struggle ends with shots fired. The man later dies from his injuries as investigators review the security footage. Personal space is a form of protection. Recognizing behavior that closes distance aggressively can provide an early warning before confrontation develops. A porch camera captures the suspected intruder stumbling down the front steps moments after a home invasion erupts into gunfire inside the apartment. After allegedly breaking into the home through a kitchen window, the suspect is confronted by an armed resident, awakened by the disturbance, with indoor security cameras recording the chaos. During the exchange of gunfire captured on the apartment's cameras, both the resident and his girlfriend are struck, while the suspect is also wounded. Doorbell-style surveillance footage later shows the suspect struggling to flee across the snowy front porch before collapsing near the entrance and being taken into custody. Once an intruder enters a home, certainty disappears. Focusing on protection and communication is often more effective than attempting to control the entire situation. A masked robber breaks into a Chick-fil-A before opening and corners the wrong employee with a gun. At 4:30 a.m. in Gwinnett County, the suspect smashes through the drive-thru window, walks into the back room, and forces employee Kevin Blair toward the safe. When the robber points the gun at Blair's face, Blair grabs the suspect's wrist and fights to keep the weapon pointed away from him, refusing to surrender despite the threat. The struggle lasts about 3 minutes before the suspect runs off. Blair pulls off the mask during the fight, helping police identify and later arrest the 53-year-old suspect. Compliance and resistance both carry uncertainty during armed encounters. Recognizing available options early can improve the chances of making safer decisions under pressure. A homeowner arrives home and is suddenly ambushed outside his front door. Captured by the homeowner's security camera, a masked gunman rushes up the walkway just as the resident reaches his front door. Captured on the home security camera, a masked suspect suddenly vaults over the front fence and rushes toward the homeowner as he approaches his front door. Realizing he is being ambushed, the homeowner reacts instantly, throwing his drink, drawing his handgun, and firing as the intruder closes in. The suspect immediately turns and runs. A second accomplice also flees, and both men escape over the front gate without taking anything from the property. Ambushes succeed by denying time to think. Developing awareness of surroundings before reaching vulnerable transition points can reduce exposure to surprise attacks. a man steps out of his apartment and comes face to face with armed robbers hiding in the stairwell. Security camera footage captures a resident leaving his apartment. As he enters the corridor, several suspects who had quietly moved up the stairwell reveal themselves. One points a firearm and attempts to take control. The victim reacts instantly. He reaches for a handgun at his waist and draws before the suspects can act. Shots are fired in the narrow corridor as the armed men scramble for cover. One suspect goes down on the stairway as the others flee. The resident then locks the corridor entrance, securing access to his apartment. Shared residential spaces can limit visibility and escape options. Paying attention to unusual movement in these areas may provide valuable warning before an encounter unfolds. A truck burglar thinks he found an easy target until the owner walks up behind him. Security camera footage from a Jacksonville Beach parking garage shows a man rummaging through a pickup truck. The owner, Steve Fitzgerald, steps outside and catches the suspect in the act. The suspect pulls out a metal pipe and advances while shouting threats. Fitzgerald backs away, draws his legally carried handgun, and repeatedly orders the man to stop and leave. Instead of continuing the confrontation, the suspect turns and runs. Tesla camera footage and witness video help police track him down, leading to an arrest shortly afterward. Many confrontations are driven by emotion and momentum. Remaining composed can create opportunities for better decisions when tensions rise unexpectedly. A woman outside her gate spots two men on a motorcycle heading straight toward her and makes a split-second decision that ruins their plan. Security cameras show the woman holding her handbag on a residential sidewalk. A motorcycle slows beside her, and one rider quickly jumps off and starts closing the distance. Realizing she's being targeted, the woman immediately throws her bag over the wall and runs. The suspect reaches the spot where she was standing seconds earlier, only to find the bag out of reach. With the robbery falling apart, the suspects abandon the attempt and retreat on the motorcycle empty-handed. The entire encounter lasts moments before they disappear from the area. The earliest warning signs are often subtle. Trusting instincts and responding before a threat fully develops can prevent becoming an easier target. A gunman steps from a red car and targets a parked driver. Seconds later, the robbery takes an unexpected turn. Captured by a residential surveillance camera, a red hatchback parks a few meters ahead of a white car on a quiet Brazilian street. A suspect exits, points what appears to be a firearm at the driver, and orders him out. As the gunman advances, the red car drives away, leaving him alone. Believing the weapon is real, the victim initially complies and steps away from his vehicle. The suspect doesn't realize the driver is reportedly an off-duty police officer. Using a nearby parked car as cover, the officer repositions and fires 2 shots as the attempted carjacking unfolds. Under sudden threat, people often focus only on the immediate demand. Looking for opportunities to improve position and awareness can influence the outcome. A shotgun-wielding robber thought everyone would comply. One customer had other plans. Captured by store surveillance cameras, a man in a leather jacket moves behind the counter at a Casey's convenience store. After grabbing a shotgun, he points it toward customer Bryce Gathercole, while employees hide nearby. Instead of panicking, Gathercole remains calm and speaks to the suspect. As the robber's attention shifts, he suddenly grabs the shotgun's barrel and wrestles control of the weapon away. The suspect stumbles into the plexiglass counter as Gathercole secures the shotgun. Surveillance footage captures the dramatic disarming before police take the suspect into custody. Criminal behavior can shift without warning during high-stress events. Understanding that situations evolve rapidly may help people avoid relying on assumptions. A taxi driver stops to check damage after a crash, then realizes the men nearby are armed robbers. In Johannesburg, CBD, a motorist in a white Corolla is ambushed at a traffic light. Several suspects smash his windows, point firearms, and rob him before his car rolls forward into a taxi. The taxi driver steps out to inspect the bump, but the robbers turn their guns toward him too. He draws his licensed firearm as the confrontation escalates. The suspects scatter and flee the scene. The robbed motorist is later treated for a gunshot wound and treated by medics, while police open cases of armed robbery and attempted murder. Criminal attention can shift unexpectedly between people nearby. Remaining aware of changing circumstances helps reduce the chance of becoming involved in someone else's crisis. Three armed men arrive at a family home expecting easy victims, but the plan unravels in seconds. Captured on a residential security camera in Cocalco, Mexico, the footage shows three suspects pulling up on a motorcycle and approaching a house in the Ranchos La Palma neighborhood late at night. One suspect points a firearm at a family member and issues threats. Before he can take control, another person rushes in from behind, disarms him, and sparks a chaotic struggle at the front gate. As more family members join in, the suspects are overwhelmed. One accomplice flees when he realizes he is outnumbered, while two others are detained and later arrested on weapons and assault-related charges. Moments of courage can also carry significant risk. Understanding the potential consequences of intervention helps people make informed choices during emergencies. The burglars thought everyone inside was asleep until a homeowner woke up armed. Captured by a home security camera in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, the footage shows multiple intruders moving through a house in the early morning hours, searching rooms for valuables. The noise wakes a woman inside the home. She retrieves a revolver and fires toward the intruders, prompting them to retreat from the home. The suspects scramble out through a window and flee before they can complete the burglary. Security camera footage later helps document the attempted home invasion. Reports indicate property was taken, but no injuries were reported. Discovering intruders inside a home creates immediate uncertainty. Establishing a plan before an emergency occurs can reduce hesitation when quick decisions become necessary. A thief lifts a manhole cover in broad daylight, then disappears into the hole he just opened. In Medellin, Colombia, onlookers film as a man tries to steal a heavy metal manhole cover from the street while a biker waits nearby. The bizarre attempted theft was captured on camera by residents watching from nearby buildings, giving viewers a clear look at what happened. He finally gets the cover up over his head, but loses his footing and drops straight into the open drain. The biker rides off as the thief climbs back out in pain, leaving the cover behind while people nearby react to the failed theft. The clip quickly spread online, with many viewers stunned by how quickly the attempted theft went wrong. Unusual hazards in public spaces are often overlooked until something goes wrong. Paying attention to changes in the environment can protect both yourself and others. Two armed riders pull into a gas station, and the man by the pump reacts before they can take control. In Teresina, Brazil, security footage shows a man standing beside his car while it's being refueled. Two suspects arrive on a motorcycle and stop behind him. One suspect gets off and moves toward the victim with a weapon. The man reacts instantly, draws his own firearm, and responds as the suspects turn away. One suspect goes down near the pump while the other escapes on the motorcycle. Police later investigate the case as an attempted robbery and self-defense shooting. Witnesses nearby scramble for cover as the chaotic encounter unfolds in just a few seconds. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.